Hello and welcome to the latest in our JLife community interviews. And I'm delighted and honoured to be here today with the Deputy Director of Harewood House Trust, Bernadette O'Sullivan. And obviously Harewood being probably the most well-known landmark of Leeds 17. So it really is an honour. Good morning to you, Bernadette.
Good morning, Elliot. Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
Yes, good, great. We're not doing too badly.
Thank you for joining us, and obviously our readers of JLife magazine are obviously keen to know what's been going on and how you've been affected. Just tell us, obviously, how the pandemic has affected Harewood and how you've been coping with that.
Well, it's been a really difficult few months, actually. Obviously, we had to close, as most places did, on the 24th of March. We've been closed now almost 3 months. As a charitable trust, we rely entirely on our visitors. So we've had very little income coming in that period. We've had to furlough about 80% of our staff, but there's been a lot of, still a lot of important work going on behind the scenes because we've got a zoo. So we've got a fantastic bird garden, which I think many of your listeners, your readers will know. And those 300 birds still need looking after every single day. So we're very fortunate to have a wonderful bird garden team headed by Nick Dowling. And he and his team have been going in on a sort of rota system to make sure that, the birds still need feeding, the vets need to still come out. So that's been going on behind the scenes. Plus, we also have been, we're really fortunate to have a fantastic membership base. That membership income has really helped us because it's been some income coming in. We've got about 17,000 members now.
Wow.
And, and they've really remained so loyal. I mean, yes, of course, inevitably we have lost some because, they haven't been able to come for the last 3 months.
Of course, yeah.
But most of them have stayed with us. They've decided to renew when their renewal period came up. So we wanted to make sure that we kept in touch with them, and we've been providing online content. So we created something called Harewood at Home, which is all the sort of work that's been going on. And for example, we had an interview with our head gardener giving gardening tips. We had one of our wonderful curators talking about our Princess Mary exhibition. We've had Lord Harewood, David Lascelles. He gave a tour of the Himalayan garden. So that's all online content that we've been sort of just wanting to keep in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's available for anybody to log into, or do you have to be a member to find this sort of content?
Some of it's just for members, but we have they can find it on YouTube. So if you just Google Harewood House YouTube, all of that will come up. It gets released to members for the first couple of weeks, and then it goes out to everyone.
Yeah.
So
So obviously, I understand being a former member myself when my kids were small. The upkeep must be unbelievably high. I think I was reading it costs you £14,000 a year to just maintain the trees, and without being open, it must have had really a horrendous hit on the finances. So how have you been coping with that?
Yeah, it's been really difficult. So we launched an online fundraising appeal to support our bird garden. That's still going, and it'll be going for another couple of weeks. So if any of your readers want to support, it's Harewood Bird Appeal. We've been really thrilled. It costs £35,000 just to keep the bird garden running for the 3 months. So we've raised about 20% of it. It's the first time we'd ever done anything like that. We've had about 250 donations, ranging from £10 up to £500, in fact.
Wow.
Because I think there's a real fondness for the birds.
Really?
People, I don't know, your children probably remember coming and seeing the flamingos, the penguins.
Oh, yeah.
the parrots. So I think people really were touched by the fact that we just needed support there.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the longer term, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, we are looking at the moment at £1 million loss this year. So we've got to, we're trying to be very creative. We've obviously got to cut a lot of our costs without affecting our program. And we just need to start to think about innovative ways when we open for trying to sort of mitigate that as much as possible and recoup as many of those costs as possible. But it's going to be a really tough year for us and so many other organisations like us.
Absolutely, organisations like yourself and business in general. I mean, obviously things are going to change. There's no doubt about that. They call it the new norm. So when you do open, how's it going to look? How's that going to work?
Yeah, well, we're opening on the 6th of July to everyone, and it will look a little bit different. We're going to have some, so for example, around the bird garden, we're going to have some one-way systems. We will only have takeaway coffee, but the Courtyard Cafe will be open, but just for takeaway, grab and go food. Obviously, our staff will be wearing visors and masks in the places that they're very close with our visitors. But everything else will be open. We won't be able to open the playgrounds for obvious reasons because it's impossible to keep that 2 metre distance.
Sure.
But we have created a brand new sort of fun outdoor space. We've got hay bales, we've got a maze, so that's going to be in a different part of the site. But we think that'll be much safer for kids who want to come and just have a run around, really. Obviously, we've got 120 acres of site, so it's just a great place to come and get outside and, just get some breathing space and a different view, a different scene,
No, absolutely.
But we'll only
place to come. Will there be any kind of incentives for people to come in and or maybe membership offers or anything like that happening?
Yeah, we're still running our membership offer. So if you join any time from now until the end of the year, you get 3 months free. So you'd be buying a 12-month membership. You'd be getting 15 months, which seems to be really appealing to people.
Yeah, definitely.
Our entry level, normal entry is around about £15. We've dropped that down to about £10, £11. So we because we're not able to open the full site, we've reduced that. So it's much a better value. It's much more accessible. So we will also have a limit on numbers, as most organisations have. We normally, on our busy days, would have 1,500 people, and we've dropped that to around about 600. So just to kind of get used to, I mean, obviously it's a vast site, it's a huge site. There's more than enough space for 1,500 people normally, but people do congregate in certain areas. So we just have put everything in place to keep visitors safe, our staff safe. So we're limiting numbers.
It sounds like you're doing some amazing work, and looking at the weather behind you there, it looks like we need to get you open and quickly, don't we, while the weather's good?
I know, it's ironic because actually the last 2 springs have been dire. I think 2 years ago we had the beast from the east, and last year wasn't great. But if we'd been open now, we would have had a good year, because people love to come when the weather's good, and the weather's been amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I know Harewood is the home to also events, and you've had quite a lot of events in the past, which obviously sadly won't be happening this year. But is there anything still in the diary that we can look forward to?
That's a really good question, actually, Elliot. A lot of our traditional outdoor events have obviously been cancelled, but we've been working with Lunar Cinema over the last few years, as many of your readers will know.
Yeah.
And again, that is something that's becoming very popular. Drive-in cinema.
Yeah. So
we've got a series of drive-in cinema through August.
Brilliant.
Which will be amazing. We'll be able to have 500 cars in at a time. There will be catering opportunities. There'll be food and drink. So we think that's a safe way to do it. Other places have done it. I think Blenheim Palace have been running some outdoor cinema. So that information on that will go live in the next few weeks. And we really hope your readers will come.
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, obviously, most of our readers are within, 10 minutes of Harewood, so I'm sure they will, and it sounds great. It's really wonderful to hear all the positive news coming out, and events still happening. Look, it'll be Christmas soon, and things will be back to normal. Let's hope.
Let's really hope so, yeah. And we hope we welcome, hope your readers will come and say hello, really, because it would be great to have.
Definitely. Well, it's a time where we all need to support each other locally, and we're very proud in Leeds 17 to have Harewood House. In fact, you once featured on the front cover of our magazine, so hopefully a claim to fame for you as well. Bernadette, it's been really lovely to speak to you. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add that we haven't covered, or just tell us where we can obviously see what's going on.
Yeah, well, obviously, all the communications will be on social media, and any of your readers who are members, we just want to extend a huge thanks for staying with us. Yeah. We're really grateful. It's meant a lot, and it's kept morale going, which I think is important for everyone at this time.
Absolutely, and it's great to hear that you're opening and all the great work that's been going on behind the scenes. So I just want to thank you for joining us, and best of luck for what's left of the summer and going forward.
Thank you very much. All the best. Take care.
All the best. You too.
Bye-bye.